Welcome to Lending Forward, a podcast where we're lending every bit of what we know to our listeners. From real conversations and lessons learned deep within the industry to education and forward thinking. Together, we're lending forward. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channels and connect with us on www.atlanticbay.com. Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group, LLC, NMLS number 72043, NMLSconsumeraccess.org is an equal opportunity lender located at 600 Lynn Haven Parkway, Suite 203, Virginia Beach, Virginia, 23452.
Welcome to another episode of Lending Forward. I'm your host, Taylor Ellard, and joining us back behind the mic is the one and only Rebecca Lorenz. Welcome. It's good to see you again.
Oh my gosh, Taylor, it's so great to see you. I love being on your podcast. So thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, of course. Well, you are on the cusp of doing an awesome, amazing, wonderfully positive webinar with Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. And it was all about maximizing your referrals. And I do think right now, and I feel like I almost beat it like a dead horse. Like I say this all the time. Right now, it's good to hear these things. It's not true. It's all the time. It's good to hear these things. Who am I crazy? It's always good to hear these things. And implementing routine in your day is so important. And going into every conversation, not just ones in your industry, but every single conversation you have, whether that's with your friends, your family, your dry cleaner, your kids' teacher at their school, having forward conversations only maximizes your referrals. And I'm going to stop talking and let you kind of tell us a bit of a recap of what you just presented on. And that's 5 ways to maximize your referral sources. Tell us, give me the skinny.
You got it. Well, but you're right. When you say it's good to hear it now, but it's good to hear it always, I think now it's so important because mortgage bankers, real estate agents, we get a little distracted when things get a little bumpy. And so maybe now is a really great time when we're saying, how do I maximize my referrals? How do I build my relationships? How do I create value? And we have all of these ideas coming at us. And so what we're coming off of is this webinar saying, what are 5 ways that I really maximize them? I've got things coming at me. I've got information coming at me all the time. How do I kind of hone that in and get really consistent? So these are the 5 ways if you were on the webinar. Number 1 is building relationships. Just like you said, Taylor, it's taking those blinders off where you're saying, if you're a mortgage banker, it's just real estate agents. Or if you're a real estate agent, it's just saying people in my database and saying, take the blinders off. There's opportunities, your neighbors, the kids' school, financial planners, the mayor. There's more abundance out there than I think anyone's really tapping into today.
I know. And I do wonder, what do you find that when you're coaching, what do you find that kind of the lag is? Is it not maximizing those conversations, or is it, I just don't know how to have those conversations?
Gosh, that's a great question. I think it's both. I think that fear is a tough one. You have to be really vulnerable with yourself and others to admit that. Fear of rejection. If I add someone to my database, that's my kid's teacher, is that going to look bad? Am I going to look salesy? We go down that rabbit hole with ourselves instead of standing back and saying, am I creating value? That teacher's going to buy a home. Am I creating enough value that I earn that relationship? And stepping back and saying, get out of this cloud of fear and insecurity and say, how do I build a great business? And who do I need to become? And how do I need to market? And how do I need my process to be to deliver that wow experience?
And I love that. I think it's, and then creating that white glove customer service after you get the deal, right? Or, when they come to you. But, I think sometimes loan officers and mortgage bankers, they kind of wait for the goodness to happen and they're not as proactive as they should be. And I think by being able to listen and implement those routines, which I also think there sometimes can be a disconnect with creating that routine. I think a lot of times we do that like spontaneity. And, if you've got these things that you're doing repetitiously, I do think that brings so much greater ways for you to capitalize and capture your business, right? Keep going with the referrals. What was the second one? I can't remember.
Yeah, so number 2 is make them look good. And there's all kinds of research on why people refer. And if our business is around earning referrals, we should dive into that. And the basic research of all the data and the books that have been published is people won't refer you if it won't make them look good. If they have any hesitation and think, gosh, you know, she doesn't always call me, or he didn't call me back, or it's kind of long-term times, they're not going to take that risk of looking bad and referring you. It seems so simplistic to me of saying, do you have a process for when you earn a referral, or are you winging it?
Yeah, I would say a lot of people don't. And that goes across not just this industry, but sales in general. You know, they don't have
industries.
And so one idea that, you know, I've thought of that I'm like, maybe this will work, you know, but let's just say you're an agent and I'm a loan officer, and we get, you met someone. Well, how great would it be if we sent a video of you and I side by side together and say, hi, this is Taylor, so-and-so, you know, just so you have a face to the name, she's going to be reaching out on your behalf. Just creating that process to, you know, already say, wow, they are in cahoots. And so it's only right that I use this person. It's just solidifying that deal even further, you know. But again, it is the process piece. So it is going to your agents and saying, let's do a video for when you refer my business out.
And I love that you say that, because it even goes beyond. I mean, that's a brilliant idea, because 60% of the population are visual learners. You feel more connected when you see someone's face. I mean, it ties into everything as sales professionals that we want to do. It's just taking it to that next level of saying, hey, I want you to feel connected. I want you to know this person. Here's a visual. How simple.
So simple. And it's, even if it were just a picture, that's such a warmer introduction than giving someone's cell phone number or a business card. It's a video, and it looks like it was tailored for you, you know? And I just think that that's just that kind of sets you up for the success of how this relationship is going to go. It's very handheld. We're in it together. So I just think, I mean, especially with referrals. And that doesn't, by the way, I think that video idea goes beyond just your agent relationships. That goes to your painter, your contractors, everybody that you do business with. If you're in a BNI group, all of your BNI group people, you know, and it goes both ways, right? So if I meet someone on the street and I'm like, they don't have an agent. So you meet with your agent, you do 2 videos, one's for you saying, hi, I'm, you know, Taylor. And then, hi, I'm Rebecca. And so it's just that process. You have it saved on your phone. I preach videos until we're all blue in the face. And if you're a mortgage banker at Atlantic Bay, you know that. But I think that's just
it's
so
important.
It is. When we know the next generation and generations now are all, I mean, you can get a mortgage online. You can get a home without an agent. Like, why not provide that amazing service up front, well before you even hop on the phone with that person? It sets a precedent. So.
I hear you. No, that's what we talked about in this webinar is, have you thought through how you're giving hospitality? Have you thought through how you deliver a fabled experience? Have you thought through the wow? They talk about what it was like to work with you. And sometimes, you know, it's part of it, like I said, taking those blinders off.
Yeah, it's hard to do, though. I mean, and sometimes it takes some time to recognize that you even have the blinders on at all.
That's the first step for sure.
Right. Well, okay. So what was number 3?
Number 3, fabled service. I think we just touched on that. Delivering a service level that they tell the story of what it was like to work with you, because it feels so different. It feels so great that they're telling that story to everyone in their sphere.
I know.
And it doesn't cost anything sometimes, right?
Oh, no, it's an easy text message. It's an easy celebratory. Hey, how are things going? How are you feeling? I don't remember who I was interviewing. It was on the podcast, but, you know, someone said, ask the other person if they're buying a home. And this is for agents and loan officers. Ask the buyer or your client, where do you feel like you are in this process? Like, out of 1 to 10, tell me where you feel like you are. And then that just opens the line of communication so that nobody's guessing at that point. And remember that maybe that's what you lead with when you're texting folks who are in the process. They're pre-approved. It's,
Right.
it might have gone a little stale. All right, well, how do you feel now? It's been 2 months since we talked. How are you feeling? Where do you think you are in your home buying journey? And just making sure that it's very, what I'm saying is it's just very simple things that can mean a lot to people.
I agree with you. And the fabled service are those little things. It's those little touches that they feel heard, they feel seen. You've asked questions, so you really understand their why for this move, because there's always a why.
Right.
And we should know it. If we're great at our job, we know it, and we have a process to deliver the fabled service. Absolutely.
I love it. Well, what was number 4?
Number 4 is consistency. I mean, we're just leading this right where having a process, being consistent. Like we talked about how few real estate agents and mortgage bankers, when they earn a referral, which we work really hard for, we earn it. And if we're really busy, we do nothing about it. Or we always think, I should have done this. Is it too late to send a card now? Real estate agents, we need to have a consistent process. When I earn a referral, this is what I do. This is how I say it. This is when I say it. Take the guesswork out of it sometimes.
It's so important. And how do you see that? I mean, how do you see that working? Is it an everyday journal that they keep these things in? Once their referral comes in, you're thanking the agent, you're reaching out to the listing agent, and then what? Like, what does that, how do you map that out?
Well, what we provided in the webinar is actually mapped out. It's writing a card. It's picking up the phone and saying, thank you. I like to mail the card the same day because they're getting it within 2 to 3 days. And usually I'm hearing from the referral, the buyer, within 2 to 3 days. And the timing is nice. I'm thanking, I'm calling, I'm giving them status updates. Hey, we found a house, they're under contract. Hey, we've got closing set. And then I'm sending a card once they close. They feel phenomenal. They're probably going to refer me again if I handle it with that much professionalism and consistency and tracking it, right? Whether it's a CRM or a piece of paper, I don't think it matters. We don't have to complicate it. Just do it.
Yeah, I love it. I will round us out with number 5.
Number 5, thank you. It's sending thank yous and following up. It's thank you as part of the referral process. It's thanking your FedEx guy. I mean, how few people have thanked those in their life it's taking those blinders off. It's opportunities. It's making sure that those in your sphere know that you're an expert and know that you are appreciative and grateful for them.
Absolutely. And it's just being the human, right? That's just the right thing to do. And I think
it is.
Sometimes people, like you said, they overthink certain things. Like, let's not overcomplicate it. Just be humble and be thankful and grateful. And, you're only as good as your current deal. So you really just need to set yourself up for success. Well, I appreciate these 5 ways. I hope everyone who's listening does too. I think it's such great value, and implementing Ninja into your everyday is just absolutely worth it. It's something that I went through the training and I learned so much of it. And I will say, for me at least, having better intentional conversations with the Ford questions has just changed how I interact with people.
Oh, that makes sense. Well, Taylor, thank you for having me. I always love when I get Taylor time. So thanks, and everyone that watched, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thanks again for listening to the Lending Forward podcast powered by Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Don't forget to tune in next week and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Remember, we all play a part in lending forward. So go lend something forward today.